Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, 4-Eyed Monster Miniatures, home to scale pre-painted figures, unboxing and reviews, as well as displays of any custom painted scale model kit projects that I managed to complete. Today, we'll be looking at the former in a return to Ichiban Kuji prize figures based on the Attack on Titan Lottery Recapture Operation series. And we'll be looking at Prize C specifically, which is a bare-bones version of Mikasa Ackerman, which comes without the omnidirectional mobility gear, or ODM gear for short. This Attack on Titan pre-painted figure of Mikasa Ackerman is pre-owned, as almost all Ichiban Kuji figures tend to be, unless they are obtained via playing the prize figure lottery system, which is primarily created by Bandai Spirits. To my understanding, this particular Ichiban Kuji Prize C figure of Mikasa is what the figure collecting community would term as back in box, or BIB, meaning the figure had been previously removed from the box before it was put back in. The box itself seems to be in a decent condition, so I'm hoping the figurine will be too. Cutouts at three sides of the box allow us a fairly good glimpse of the figurine, though the plastic wrappings and blisters do somewhat distort the view. Anyway, let's now unbox and unwrap Mikasa in this short ASMR section sans any commentary, which will resume in the once-over section of the video. Most eye-catching of all the features, and not in a good way, was the disproportionately large hexagonal base. It gets worse, as the base had a molded-in hue of glossy back with a white training corps badge and chain-link designs, a combination that made the base look cheap and tacky. On the plus side, the figure does bear a close resemblance to Mikasa Ackerman, one of the deuteragonists in the Attack on Titan series. And while the color scheme is full of boring neutral hues like browns, whites and beige, it is at least true to the character. As for the training corps badge on her back, it looks clean and blends naturally onto the jacket. All the different browns, comprising light ochreish brown for the jacket, umber for the waistcoat, and reddish brown for the boots, look well shaded to mimic real leather. Silver paint for the buckles and claps, white for her shirt and beige for her pants, her skin tone and black hair round up the color scheme. Paintwork is generally clean, except for the lines where the umber leather straps meet the beige pants. Let's move on now from this once-over of the figure to proceed to a full 360-degree view to see how she will look when displayed. This Ichiban Kuji pre-painted figure of Mikasa Ackerman is actually one of two versions that exist, and the figure you see here is the lesser Prize C version, which lacks the ODM gear on both sides of her hips. In contrast, the better version is the Ichiban Kuji Last One Prize, which is the same figure you see here, but with the ODM gear attached on her hips, as shown in the image next to the rotating figure. So despite standing at an impressive 19 centimeters in height, when measured from the bottom of her feet to the top of her head, I can't help feeling a sense of incompleteness to the figure, which is made worse by Mikasa's rather staid and stiff pose. At first I thought she was making the Attack on Titan soldier's salute, but as you can see in the image I'm putting up, that's not it. I'm mystified as to what her pose means, And if you do know, then please do let me know in the comments section below. Yet, it's not all bad with this prize figure. I was particularly impressed with the paintwork applied on the brown bits to simulate leather texture. The paint shading on Mikasa's light brown jacket and her knee-high boots were some of the best work I've seen on a budget tier prize figure. That being said, this impressive work on the leather parts were let down by some sloppy paintwork on the areas where the leather straps met the white shirt and beige pants. Both the white and beige paints were not applied cleanly and can be seen covering the straps. It's like the work of two different people in a factory assembly line. One person was dedicated and skillful, while the other not so much. There are two other features on this Ichiban Kuji prize figure that comes across as being positives when considering the relatively low price point this piece is at. Granted that some Ichiban Kuji figures can be extremely pricey, but most fall within the mid-tier to budget category. One of the positives is the figure's high likeness factor, helped by simple yet clean and accurate paintwork on her facial details, as well as a fairly accurate sculpt of Mikasa's hairstyle. The other positive has to do with the emblem on the back of her brown jacket. I like how the training corps badge blends in seamlessly onto the heels of the jacket, as in it doesn't stand out like a sticker on plastic, which would look bad and toy-like. Meanwhile, the metal buckles and claps fall somewhere in between, in that the buckles in front aren't so cleanly painted within the lines, while the claps on her back fare much better. On this lower half view of Mikasa, the most impressive feature is her knee-high boots, which displayed excellent paintwork to mimic a pair of red leather boots. Like the jacket on the upper half, the paintwork quality is as good as some upper-tier figures I've seen or have in my collection. In contrast, the paintwork on her pants was excruciatingly sloppy at best, with the beige paint covering the edges of the brown straps. This infuriating dichotomy in paintwork quality was then compounded by the unsightly oversized base, which in some ways highlights the inconsistencies of the lower mid-tier category to mid-tier range that Ichiban Kuji figures tend to populate. Ichiban Kuji non-scale prize figures form an essential component of your average hobbyist figure collection by fulfilling a niche that ranges from the lower to mid-tier category or even higher. This is because your average collector has a smaller percentage of the more expensive upper-tier figures due to their smaller budget allocated to the hobby. In essence, figures obtained via the Japanese lottery systems offers your average collector the chance, albeit a low one, to obtain better quality figurines at budget prices. Of course, playing the lottery implies that luck is involved, because failure to get Ichiban Kuji figures via just a few pulls or tries will result in excessive purchase of Ichiban Kuji tickets, thus inflating the collector's overall cost. Getting the figure from the secondary market will also likely involve inflated prices by resellers. But even putting that aside, the quality of Ichiban Kuji figures can be hit or miss. Some limited edition or last one prize figures are almost comparable to the lower spectrum of upper tier pre-painted figures, while some can suffer from plastic mold marks and less than ideal paint jobs. This Ichiban Kuji Prize C version of Mikasa Ackerman from the Attack on Titan series unfortunately falls in the latter category of having a less than ideal paint job, as I discussed earlier. This figure also suffers from a staid and stiff pose, which is compounded by an overly large and unsightly base. Such negatives of the non-scale figure were too big of an issue to ignore. Moreover, the negatives, specifically the sloppy white and beige paintwork, overwhelmed the good work done on the brown leather-like hues. As such, I'm giving this Ichiban Kuji Prize C figure of Mikasa Ackerman, based on the Attack on Titan lottery recapture operation, a rating of silver or D rank. My heart goes out to the factory painter that had done such a good job on the brown leather-like hues, only to have his or her work compromised by subpar painting on the rest of the figure's clothing or attire. In fact, the good job done on the leather bits is the only thing preventing this figure from getting the lowest rank in my figure rating system. Even if you could win the Mikasa Prize C figurine after just one pull or lottery ticket, she's not a prize figure that I would recommend you get for your collection, even if you're a fan of the Attack on Titan anime series. So even though this prize figure does not fall to the depths of the worst ranking, I'm advising fans to stay clear of this one, as there are much better versions of Mikasa out there. And with that, we've come to the end of yet another unboxing and review video in my channel. As always, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like this video and also subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, thank you for watching this video. Be well and be happy.